Hi everybody, I think this might be the last one for this version of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery before we start the next one. And I'm just going to show where I'm up to. Now I've printed out for this first page, this blank one. I tried it a few different ways, and so this is that canvas that you can actually paint on, but you can easily, because it's quite thick and it's got a really good edge, you can stick it through your printer. So because on these ones I had used a red, I tried it with a different background than what I'd used, and I thought that the red blended in a bit too much, so I have turned it upside down and put it back through my printer. Now it's still not as, I don't know, it's okay, you can read it. The main thing is that you can read what each month is about. So I'm thinking I'm still going to use this. Now, what I did was double printed. So I printed one of my printables backgrounds and then printed the type over the front. I didn't bother doing it in Photoshop or anything like that, just did a double print. Now with these ones I glued them down, so I'm going to do the same with this one. Just take a bit of this edge off. Now, is that too big or not? That's my question. I've got a button there. Take a bit off the top. Just going to try and make it as small as possible. And try and neaten it up. I'm going to use some fabric fix to glue it down. One of the main things, a bit of a squeeze in the middle there, but one of the main things is to try and get those edges when it dries, you'll have to peel it off your skin if you do this. I wouldn't suggest it. It's probably not a healthy alternative. Now once that's dry, that'll be stuck really, really well. And it doesn't take very long to dry either. It's pretty quick. Now, I have to put something down here, and I've got a little one of the hearts from when I was doing the heart. I'm just wondering if that's going to go maybe somewhere here as a reminder. Oh, I remember, I think I wanted to write something up here, so I haven't done that either. So there's a couple of things. And I'm sure that I'll just continue to find things. No, I don't want that there. That doesn't work with those. I think it could possibly go up here. It's a bit big for there. I was going to add to this page, wasn't I? Not sure. I mean, there's still one page, so that's still something. Maybe that's going to go there opposite this, so it'll be a double heart page. All right, now this is where we're up to. So I've got my little tin. I've already used my other little tin, so I've got a couple of tins of scraps. This one's got some of the lovely trims that Sarah sent, so maybe one those might work. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? A bit too wide. Oh, that goes really nice with this, doesn't it? Oh, I do love that. This is one of my favourite ones. Sometimes you've got a favourite and you just don't want to use it. Now the question's going to be, how do I get that in with ease? All right, I think a very fine needle. It's going to take a bit of a juggle. And maybe, all right, what have I got? I think maybe the black's a bit too much. How thin's that? This might be thinner. And it's a bit off-white, so this might be better. I'm really glad that I ended up with paper and extra bits in this, because it really will see me through. I've been thinking I might write some notes or something like that in the paper bits. So even though it's a journal of stitchery and I've put paper at the start, there's all sorts of things. I mean, I could just keep a record and put some of this in one of the little pockets as a reminder that I love it, you know, something like that. So there's all sorts of things that could happen. Just not quite sure yet, because I think the rest of the book is going to be a bit of a work in progress of, you know, just what you love. For me, it doesn't mean it's the end of the book. All right, hopefully we're in camera here. Definitely an awkward moment to get it in here. But we get there. And not so hard if you just try to catch that layer of the top layer of the backing and not go all the way through, because actually on the other side here I've got quite a lot of elaborate bits here and thick bullions, and you know, it's a thicker, this Wonderful Perle number 8. I don't know if that's 5 grams, so I don't know, 612. I don't know what size that would mean, if the hashtag 8 means it's a size 8. I don't know. Double gassed and mercurized. There you go. So I have been considering going around. I'm just looking at this and thinking, oh, I was actually considering doing a stitch around. I might do something like, I have cut it quite close. I was thinking originally of maybe a blanket stitch, but I won't be able to go anywhere where the letters are too close. I could do a few little bits, maybe something in between each one of those. Just coming to the end of this here. And I think these are all very loose, so I might just go around them a couple of times to stop them fraying too much. Okay, that's filled that in a bit. I still think that something could come along here. I can't remember if last week I decided I was going to do that, or whether I was going to leave the workings of the page, but I think I'm preferring not to see the back of a seam. Like, I didn't mind through here. Oh, I have. Look, see, and I've even come through here onto that page, so you've got to be a bit careful about it. That sort of annoys me when that happens. Remember that happened on that back page? And I end up cutting the material because I can always add a little something if I've made a hole. I prefer doing that because if I cut that, then it would unravel the page, you know, the sewing that was keeping this down. And really, when you think about it, you can't really see the hole. It just makes it look more antique-y. All right, where else were we? We did this, and we've just got another page, and to work out what to do here. It's almost like here needs something that will slot in there like that and cover that, but also be another page. Now I did have one idea, and this is going right off on a tangent, but I had one idea of sewing that and making it solid, so that's like a spine of a book, and then having another, joining that, but having a pull-out piece. So put this up here, so this is at the base. So it kind of creates a spine. So I'm wondering if I do that. Ratty-tatty bits. If that's going to work, doing that. And then I can almost start here with something else if I want to. So I'm wondering if I might just glue this like a spine. So that's a possibility. And if it's like that, this will fold down. So if that's the case, fold that there so as it's like the fold. I'm going to pin it like this. Just going to pin that, and then I know that that's the depth or the width, and this would go in here like that. And let's work out if that's there like that. Then the top of the page is going to be here like this. And then I can decide if I join this in. So this is like, we're getting an additional page. Well, we're getting 2 additional pages here. First, we've got this additional page that was a blank, because I wanted to start January on the right side. And then this one, do I want that to come all the way out there? I don't think I do. I think I want it here. That's good. I like that. So I can work a little bit on some things for this, knowing that if that's the crease, that I could put something solid here, or well, solid here, and then glue and sew this down. And then I've got another page, I've got the base of another page ready to go, and that can be sewn to this backing. And then, if I wanted to, I could even glue it. I could even glue it to that paper if I wanted, so that we don't get to see this. Or I could just leave it. I mean, once again, we've sort of finished the book, so I'm actually adding a few little last minute things. And starting to basically work on more of the book. So I'll be happy with that. Just not sure about this. whether I want to do anything with that or whether I want to make that stick down. I'll think about it. We're ready with those. This one I wanted to add some more things, but I think what I'm going to do is look at the stitches that I didn't get in. So I know I didn't get much blanket stitch in, so I could end up doing some blanket stitch onto this and just sewing it in. Now if I started this the right way, blanket stitch is always a funny stitch because I can do it both left and right handed, and I never know when I start it. Somehow I just go, I'm going to go that way, but I never know which is left or right handed because I just do it. I don't even think about it. So I'm going this way. Right, I've started weirdly, but going from left to right and trying to just only go through this top layer. I didn't do a woven rose either, and I think that that would be alright to do on here because the woven rose is quite, aside from your first points, it's not too hard to do because it's all woven on the surface. So I could do that on this. Let me get this down first. Now I've just gone around in straight stitch for the rest of it, and I'm just finishing off up here so it looks like a bit more of the blanket stitch. Now I don't know if you can see, I've just used a yellow pencil and just done a really light circle. I've done a line and then it's like an upside down peace sign and then 2 little arms. So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I've just got 2 strands of embroidery floss. I didn't want it very thick. I wanted to do a nice sunshiny colour. And I'm just doing the little lines that I've drawn. I've made it very faint in the same colour because I didn't want to have to wash out the invisible pen, the water-based one. It's very faint, I can't really see it that well myself. Now, let's get the right angle to get this one. Now, I don't want it to be too much longer. I have hand drawn this, so of course it's not about perfection, but I know with these ones that hand drawing them, well, it means that it's let me just get this, not absolutely perfect if it's not done like from a template or something. Just trying to catch just a little bit of that backing. Alright, so here you have, it's like a star. Now this is too long. You know, if I could change that, I would. So I'm changing from my little small sharp needle to a blunt needle, just because we're weaving. So the woven rose is part of the weaving, and remember I had looked back and thought I haven't actually done any kind of woven basket. This will be my little bit of weaving. I might do some more, but for now let's just do this one. Okay, so I've come up in between these two. So this will be my over, this will be my under. So then it's over, under, and by the time you get back, because it's an uneven number, when we come back to the original one that we went over, we're now going under, and that gives us the weave. And so now we're back to here, we're going over. That's how we don't end up doubling up. Now, as you're coming to the end, of course, you could start to bunch them all up and give even more room. You could flatten them down. I was actually looking at this and going, wow, that's really like a ranunculi, and I love ranunculi. I'm also running out of thread. So I'm thinking just going to end it around here. Now I'm going to have to tie off on one of the spokes. Because of course I could have done it on the back of the material first before I sewed it down, but I was in the moment. I wasn't thinking too hard about it, I was just enjoying playing. And I'm going to feed this in under and out up here, so as it's hidden, and you can just play around with it a bit and get it to sit how you want it. If you had used a thicker thread, you could probably have it more flowery and bunched up like that. It's up to you, obviously, they're all different. I do actually, now that I've sort of split them a bit, it's more like a ranunculi. But I'm going to attempt to fluff it up and cover those bits up there. Just cut this so as it goes back in there. So I finally got my woven element. Right, I've still got this joined, so I'm just going to come back and thread it back in under to the backing of the little rose. And I just want to keep it kind of in the patterning of what's already there. So because the page has got a lot of those little crisscrossy things, they're like a motif. Like in music, you might have a motif. In art, you can have a motif. So I'm just going to add a few crosses to help it to join into the background design. So I can cast off under here. And it's hidden. All right. I think I'd like to, I've added that beautiful bright yellow. It's kind of pulling this this last one in a bit with a bit of brightness. That was one of my issues. I thought I'd kind of made that back page a bit too bright. But I like, because this is a solid canvas type of thing, it's thick material, that adding this weighted thicker thread on the edge kind of, I don't know, it somehow gives it integrity. It's not like sitting floating in the air, if you know what I mean. Kind of feels like it's grounded a bit more. And we can do a bit of free form, a bit of play. Definitely need the handy dandy pliers. Now let's just have a look. It definitely grounds it down. I obviously can't go around here or up here too much, but I think that this almost makes it feel like it's a flip with an edging. So I might not do any more around here. Right, bullions, lazy daisy, satin. Didn't do any herringbone. Seed stitch. Right, now, herringbone or seed stitch. Alright, so this is my little page that I feel is a bit blank. Seed stitch. Did I manage? Didn't even do seed stitch on this one. That's interesting. I do like seed stitch. I might do some seed stitch on this one. And herringbone. So maybe we'll use up the orange while it's there on the needle. Come right up in here. Okay, so I don't know if I'm doing it the best way. I actually think I prefer to do it kind of upside down. Just feels like it's easier. So cross, cross. How we end up going to our go-to stitches, isn't it? When we're just doodling in front of the TV. And it's not that herringbone isn't a favourite, because I find it quite peaceful. Just hadn't ended up using it. Getting near the end of the thread, it's getting a bit ratty. Might cast it off here. Right, we've got a woven and a herringbone. Now I guess my next bit will be to get some seed stitch in. Let me have a look at everything. Pretty sure I didn't get any anywhere. And I think I might focus on seed stitch on this. So I might get this started off camera while I'm doing a couple of other things. The only other thing, while I've got the glue out, and so I can get all the gluing done, the only other thing I had to do was to put this in. So this is the cover. It's fraying a bit. And this is the book. So let me double check everything. This is definitely what I want for the front. this is definitely the front of the book. So first things first, I'm going to glue the spine. Now because it's fairly, and definitely gluing this down, this bit. Because it's fairly flexible, because it was just, remember at the very start it was the box of chocolates, so it wasn't a very thick cardboard. Definitely got it the right way. Now what I'm doing now is just making sure I've got it even enough that they're going to fit into the little side pockets once that bit's glued. So let me just see if I can show you a bit better. I'm pushing down where the glue is here, pushing this down, pushing the base down. Now see, that's already sticking really well. Give that a good smush. And I am going to put glue here. Glue around here. As you know, the batting always gets really fluffy. Just trying to smush it around a bit. It'll be enough glue because this is quite a deep pocket, so it'll hold it quite well. Alright, so this is one side. Now I didn't get any glue down on this bit. That I do this is I am going to bend it a bit, fold it inside. Now it needs to bend that way. Bit tricky, but we get there. Alright, so now that bit up here with the glue, this bit down here with the glue. A bit of a smush, and the same on the other side. Get those extra little threads out of the way. And like I say, you don't need to worry too much about an enormous amount of glue because these deeper side pockets really actually already hold it in. And you can smush it around a bit. Put off a bit there. Just gets a bit of extra with the fluff. Now what I'm going to have to do is just keep this together so till it dries. It'll be fairly adhered because it's material to material, so there's not really any problems with that. I'm going to leave that to dry and I'm going to start working on this and I'll be back. Alright, so I have had a little bit of a sit in the afternoon and it's now evening, and I have drawn with my water-based pen and stitched a chain stitch over the word stitch to put up here. That's one thing. I'm going to wash this now. I just wanted to show you first because you can see a little bit around the edges, and also because I hadn't got much seed stitch in, what I've been doing is seed stitch along this. So I've made this back page, and this is going to be the line. So I've basically started the seed stitch from the crease, and then that's going to go in there. Now I've decided already I'm going to probably glue that, and then I'll probably put some little small stitches just along the edge to hold that. So I did draw the line on with my water-based pen, so I'm just going to finish these stitches and then I'll wash this as well. And so then I'll come back when they've both dried, so overnight. So I'm doing 3 strands of embroidery floss on this one, and they're varying, some are small, some are large, but I'm generally going along this little line that I drew on this side. Lots of little seed stitches. The only other bit I have done, added a bit more seed stitch, was this little tiny weeny little ones with 2 strands of embroidery floss on the white bits of this background, but keeping within this line. And then when I got up here I started to branch out here. So that's where I'm up to, and I'm going to come back when I've washed these and dried them and finish off the little bit of seed stitching, and then I will show putting it into the book. But I'm hoping that the seed stitch kind of gives it a bit of a, I don't know, a base, like a, you know, a base to start the page as compared to maybe this being the back of the spine. And then I will probably glue and stitch this down to the back, glue or stitch, and then I've just got this to decide what I'm going to do with it. Okay, I'm back and I have washed my bits of material so that they don't have any of the blue lines. Now I'm going to just do my gluing first so things have just a moment to set before I do any stitching. I didn't have to glue this, but I am just thought that if I glued it, it'll be fairly secure and it'll be easier to stitch. Right, that's one. Got some cotton ready. Now the other thing is the back. Now I think what I'm going to do, so this is obviously stuck now, it's all dried and glued in. I think what I'm going to do is glue along here first. That's going to be my first port of call. Just to get this edge in. Now I'll show you as I do this. Here's the line. I've made this the line that I had yesterday. So it's like this. So I want to get that in to the spine, as close in as possible, and then press this. So making sure the page behind is not in the way too much. Now this is my page, this is how it's ended up when I've finished it. So this is like a little spine here for the book. So it's like a little book there. more glue in here. This will mean I don't have to sew if I don't want to, just the last little bits. I might still sew, but it'll mean it's pretty well stuck down as well. Now, while they're drying, what am I doing here? Now I could just sew this on here. I don't necessarily need to glue. It's fairly well stuck, but maybe I'll just put a little bit in just to get this flat and to get it to where I want it to be. I can always cut a bit if it's not, if I'm not happy with it. Okay, now this is where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I'm going to come back to that. I just want to wait for that to set and come back after I've looked at this page. Sorry, this is probably a very long one today. But that's just how it goes. Because I want to finish everything I'm doing now, so as it's done. I did a very loosey-goosey French knot for the dot on the eye. And I'm going to have to come back and do another bit more filming a bit later because Lily's decided she wants to go to South Melbourne. So South Melbourne's maybe about a 40-minute drive from where I am. Once again, as I'm finishing, I'm just been trying to just grab that top layer of material till I come back to where I started, and then I will cast off. Okay, so there it is, all stitched on, and I've got the date, I've got a C for Christina, stitch. I just haven't written Roxy's Journal of Stitchery or Christina's Journal of Stitchery anywhere. Still, I like this. Still have that bit sticking up, I don't mind. Here, right. Just a little fine bit of lace, I think, for there. Pull this down, put a bead of glue along here. Little line of glue, not a bead. That was way more than a bead. Poke this down in under. Fiddle around with it a bit. Alright, I'm happy with that. Cut off those little ratty-tatty bits. Fluff up the bunny's tail. Alright. So this is how I ended up with this. I didn't show it already, maybe I did. That's done. I'm happy with that. I've added a little bit of extra. That's made this a bit more interesting. That's done. Done that spine. Done this as a spine. Now it's just this last little bit. Now I'm now thinking the glue's come through a bit and stuck that down in there a little bit. And I actually wonder if I like that. Getting that stuck down in there. Not all the way, but just a little bit. Alright, I do like that. Now, is that going to work in there? Yes, alright. So this is improvising, as you do. I'm even going to maybe just put it out to here a bit. I don't really want to rush to finish it because I think there's still plenty more that can be done. However, really, when you think about it, because of the way I've made this, it's a journal. with additional bits for extra stuff. Last night when I went to bed, I was thinking about this back bit, and I ended up thinking it could be a pocket. That's what I ended up thinking. So if I sew all along here and all along here, that will be a pocket. Or glue. More in line. I'm just gluing a bit. I'm sort of hurrying it a bit, but I'm also gluing some of the parts that I feel need a bit more, you know, just to be a bit more secure. So I think I actually don't mind the idea of that being a pocket. But I'm going to cut this back a bit because it's sticking out. That's annoying me. Now, as much as I like this bit of paper, I'm still inclined to think I'm going to glue this down. All right, that's what I'm doing. I need a break from sewing. That's what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. I need to give my hands a rest for a few days. And if this is stuck down, I won't think I've got another page to do. Right, now I know the glue's coming through, and that's okay because it'll dry and then it'll be fine. And I'm not going to see this because I definitely think I am making a pocket. All right, so making a pocket means I'm just gluing along the sides here. I hope I'm in frame. Just along the sides only, maybe a little bit here too. It doesn't have to be a deep pocket, but just to keep that bit secured. On the sides. Now, glue everywhere. That'll be fun to peel off. And we have a pocket. So definitely going to give this some time to dry, but let's have a look at the whole thing. Where's my thing? So I've got my bit that goes around the outside, and it's, you know, it's reasonably bulky. Got a pocket, a little bag. Got a little window. I can put something in here that shows through that window. Got a map of Melbourne, an ancient map of Melbourne. Now this is backed onto something, but I don't believe I've made it a pocket. So I can stick something on here that'll make that a pocket, or I could just join that, but I like that bit of type. Bit of one of my printables, or was that? No, that was actually a Francesca Noon's freebie. I've got these little pockets here. Back of the freebie, bit of French. Is it French? No, it's this was an ancient dictionary. An ancient dictionary. Tight. Back of the Melbourne map. Little bag with a little pocket. Something can go in there. And the back of the signature. And now we've got the stitching So we've got the front page, the samplers with bits of type on the canvas for the sampler to say what the stitches are. We've got each of the months. We've got some thread that grounds the bit of canvas, double printed canvas. We've got January, the bouncing bunny, and the vintage lace in the background. February, neutral background with the fancy flowers. Well, I haven't got a lot of neutral in there, but lots of fancy flowers. We've got March, which was antique or reclaimed backing, which these were, and bright butterflies. Well, one butterfly. April, what was the old quilt? So here's the old quilt. And country cottage. May is your favourite colour. Well, I had a few favourite colours, and beautiful birds with the upside down one. Still one of my favourites, that one. And June was the hand dyed with the lovely heart. And I've added this extra page, which is now a pocket. I put some crosses along the side, added the heart that was cut out when I couldn't decide so that they're matching. Added some seed stitch, which I hadn't put in, and what else? Oh, just a few French knots up here. And then I've got my final signature, which has got a pocket on an old paper bag. Hungry Jacks. Got a nice bit of beautiful plants. Old doily and the pattern for it. Doily. So this is actually the pattern for a trolley mat and cosy. So that's there. Doily, another bit from the old dictionary, bit of Francis Fresh Canoons. This was a bit of one of my off printmaking things. Little envelope, taps down, another little pocket, another pocket. Back of that. Francesca's freebie, old dictionary, a bit more of the lace patterns, and just that this can be gouached or gessoed over and then painted. Another bit of a paper bag and the back, a paper bag, and that's the end, and another pocket. Right, so this needs a little glue or so, now that I've looked through. Put a dab of glue there. And that's done. That is my book. So I'll put a little playthrough without voiceover, so as it's just the playthrough, and put it in the group. I think. There we have it, and that. Oh look, honestly, it's the end of the project with Rachel and Sarah, but obviously not the end of my book, because there's some things I can do in it myself later. Oh wow, that was such a great project. Thank you so much, Rachel and Sarah, and also having a bit of a look in on Rachel and Sarah's mum's work as well, which was wonderful. I look forward to the next one. I'm going to have a chat to Sarah and see what those of us in Australia are thinking. I don't necessarily want to do a Christmas journal, but it's going to be difficult doing a winter journal. I'll be starting in winter, but we'll be in summer by the time we're finishing it, so I might ask Sarah what she thinks about that. But there it is, done, finished. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for coming along for the ride too. It's been wonderful having comments from everyone, and hopefully you'll stick around for the next one as well. So thank you, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.